Hi, everyone, and welcome to In Production. We're here with Karri Farris, and I'm so happy to see you, Karri. It's been so long since I've talked to you.
Oh, yeah. No, it's been ages. I mean, I've been out of Michigan almost 10 years now.
I know. I can't, that film we did, I think it was 2006. And so, yeah, it's been a long time. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that sounds about right. I think I was trying to figure it out.
So tell me where you're talking to us from today and what is it like where you're living? And,
well, I'm in New Orleans.
okay.
And as you know, everyone's heard, we were a hot spot for a while. I think it's chilling out. I'm still sort of waiting to hear what's going on with our production to really, or with just the production world in general, to really venture out too far. But it's weird. It was definitely weird seeing things like Bourbon Street and the French Quarter just completely empty. I mean, not a single soul to be found. So it was that was really eerie.
So are you like right downtown proper or where?
I'm in Mid-City, so it's about maybe 10 minutes from the quarter. It's just a straight shot up Canal Street. So it's just a little bit out of the like crazy tourist land. Over by City Park and the museums in there, and it's a little bit away from everything, which is nice.
Okay. And so were you working before
Yes, I was working on a show called Claws, and I was doing
like kind of claws or claws like
like fingernail claws. It's the whole like crazy story about like these women that just kind of take over. Hi, Holly. Kind of run a hair salon and some other shady things sort of out of it. It's a lot of really
fun for you. If they're running things out of a hair salon, that must be very
well. No, I mean they are, but we're on location all over the place. I mean, we're
okay.
The hair salon, like we don't really have anything to do with the nail salon, little hair chair, any of that is just we get to get to do a lot of fun makeup on there. It's a very stylized show,
right.
And we have they have nail techs to do all the nails and stuff like that. I lucked out, and I've been doing a lot of their background work, so I get to do a lot of really fun makeup. I do some Michael.
Fans.
So but we get to do like a lot like second unit stuff and like special guest characters and things like that, so I've got to have a lot of fun with those and really kind of think on my toes. It's been a good time, but we did shut down. I was like in the middle of putting a tattoo on someone and they were like, we're done. Oh, okay, like
right now,
like brushes down. Okay, all right, bye, see you guys.
So what have you been doing during your time inside since you're not working?
No, I'm not working because I touch people for a living, and that's really, really awkward during a outbreak. So I've been taking a lot of courses online. Our distributor friends, it's a beauty supply where they do everything from prosthetics to hair supplies and anything in between. And so they've been hosting for free classes for us to take. So I've taken some prosthetic classes and some character conceptualizing classes, and learning how to use my iPad a little bit to draw tattoos and things like that, just being more proficient at it and learning some tricks and picking up some new tools to use along the way. So I've been doing a lot of those and doing a lot of safety courses, which are super exciting. I get to start OSHA next week.
But necessary, right? You have to do them.
We really don't know yet. The guidelines haven't been put out. It's just it's something that it can't hurt to have, and it's available for free through our union. And I'm just trying to take as many classes as I can and have all the things that they could possibly request of us available and ready to go when we start.
So what kind of things are they, what are they, or well, you haven't taken the class yet, but what are you hearing about as far as the industry, and especially, you know, your department? I don't think anybody gets closer than you do.
Right.
What
I
are they
mean, there's so many rumors that have been going around. Everything from working in pods to us staying 6 feet away from people and telling them how to do their makeup, which was really, really fun. That was a really fun rumor. So it really, you know, until we actually get, I think it's May 25th is when we get notice about how they're planning on opening up and the plans that they've put into place. And, you know, once we get that, we'll figure out how they're doing it. I mean, we're already a very, very sanitary, clean, a little obsessively clean. Hi, Mom. A little obsessively clean department already. So, I mean, it's not a huge transition for us because we are working with things, you know, mucous membranes in the mouth and all of this. And it's like, you don't share things between your actors, you know, and you just have to maintain a certain standard of cleanliness just to do our job. So, you know, the few things that we kind of have to implement that maybe we weren't before were face masks, the face shields, I think gloves, maybe. I don't know how they feel about gloves. It's kind of hot and cold with the glove situation.
Because it's supposed to be like wash your hands, but then some people don't.
I just don't know how it's gonna. Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna translate to our department though. Like, if we should put on a new pair of gloves before we do the next face, and like, how super weird would that be to try and put makeup on with gloves on because. They're so weird.
Right. You know, you're in such close contact. And I think that there's other industries, like probably, I don't know if you've kept up with what's going on in Michigan, but Ford went back, the plants went back, and like, I think a day or two later, they shut down again because some people were infected. Like 2 people went home with coronavirus. So I'm not sure where they are today, but a plant is a much different, you know, setup than what you're doing. I mean, you're like right on top of people. So.
Right. We're right on top of people. And I know that, you know, testing is going to be implemented. That's been something that's been kind of like ongoing across the board. I think Tyler Perry released his plan yesterday to the public about, you know, what his ideas are. He has a whole complex, he has a whole system. And then he's also said, you know, and he will amend his plan to whatever the unions and the producers and the insurance companies decide on. So, you know, everybody's been doing a lot of work. They've been consulting with experts, and I can never say the name, the virus specialists, the epidemiologists. I'm wrong.
Epidemiologist, is that right?
The what?
The epidemiologist?
Yes, those people. Yes. So they've been consulting with them as a way that we can safely go back to work and you know, because people are running out of things to watch at this point.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the movies that I've made that have come out that I was like, I never even thought that was going to come out.
Yeah.
And look at what it's doing. It's released during a pandemic. Hi, Kelly.
Yeah, I just discovered some UK sitcom, and I was like, wow, I can't believe it was something on Hulu. And I'm like, I can't believe I never have seen it. Miranda, is that what I think it's called? Miranda.
I don't know. I haven't heard that one.
It's from 2006, and it's so good. But
really,
yeah, oh yeah,
that down.
It's good. I think I can't remember the woman's. She's like a big famous. She's super famous in the UK, and I'm like, how did I not know about her? She's so awesome. So tell me, I want to go back and talk a little bit about, I'm so glad you brought up the prosthetics and the tattooing, because I think people think of makeup department as, you know, what most women
just put a little powder on them
do every day. Right. And I know that it's so much more than that. And I really am curious to find out, like, when did it occur to you that this was not just to do hair and makeup, but also like to really go into the film industry? When did you decide to do that? And where were you when that happened?
I don't think I was really, it's something that I've always loved. It's something I've done. I grew up around commercials and photo shoots and that sort of thing. But it really didn't dawn on me until, I think it was like 2000, was it 4 or 5?
Okay.
I had started working with my friends. I want to say it was either, hi Mallory. I think it was.
Look at all these gorgeous people looking at you. Watching. All of your makeup friends.
Right. Yeah, I was working with my friends there in film school. And I want to say it was like late 90s. They were doing some student films, and I started working with them, and it sort of piqued my interest a little. And so I started branching out a little, not much, you know, just if something happened. And then it really wasn't until they got funding for a film, I guess it was 2005, 6. I don't know, something. It had to be 6.
Where were you going to school?
I was working in a hair salon doing hair. I wasn't, they were in school and just friends of mine. And they were like, hey, you do hair. Do you also want to do makeup and set design and costumes and all these other things? And you put a bruise on this person. And the greatest thing about that was you got to see what things look like on film. And it's always nice to learn that. And I was like, oh, I kind of like this. And then once they got funding, and they did Sometimes in Life, and I got to do hair and makeup, and it was a very tiny union film. But that's when I was like, I think I should do this, and just started sort of moving on from there. And I don't know at what point I met like Madigan and Peach, and then started working with the NZero people. And that was NZero was like 2008, maybe 7.
5?
5? Okay, I don't know. It was like the second season they were doing.
Okay.
And I actually had had a conversation, I don't know, a few years ago with an actor, and he was like, "What's the least amount of money you worked for?" And I was like, "Well, I did a sci-fi series in Detroit, and I worked for Spaghetti, because Suzanne would make these giant pots of spaghetti for us, because they'd be like, well, we'll at least feed you."
Yeah.
So it was really fun, creative, kind of time. But that's when, once that happened, the film incentive sort of happened, and it just sort of snowballed from there. And I just kept working and working.
So how did you end up in New Orleans, and why did you leave Michigan? I guess I know the answer, but
kind of.
Yeah.
Well, the Michigan was losing its film industry, or its film incentive, and we had put up a good fight. There was a lot of new legislators that came into office that year, and they were just really tough to convince because they were new. They didn't want to screw up, whatever. And I was just kind of trucking away with that and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I got an offer to come to New Orleans and work on a job. And then they offered me a whole bunch more jobs if I moved. And so it's like, well, I'm going to go down there and check it out for the first one. I think I was here for 3 days, and I called my landlord, and I was like, okay, I'm going to stay. Because at that point I had worked on Family Weekend was the last movie I did in Michigan. And I just remember the snow coming up to my thighs and 45-minute drives for something that should have taken me 10 minutes. And I was just getting like more and more frustrated working in the snow. And so that combined with the film incentive, and then got to New Orleans, and it's all like sunny and lovely and wonderful. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to stay. I'm just going to stay.
So tell me a little bit about like what is your daily life like? What is the job like? I mean, I know that usually the makeup department is that you guys are there pretty much when craft services is setting up, or
we get in.
You're the earliest people usually.
I mean, locations and transport are there because they have to open things up. But other than that, and catering. But other than that, yeah, we're usually in really, really early, and to get everybody ready before rehearsal. And we just, everybody has kind of their own thing. Like some people, it's just skincare. Some people have, heavier makeup look. And sometimes we have like, we did Looking for Alaska, and Ron Cephas Jones had a 4-hour makeup that we were doing on him. His hands, his hair, his facial, everything. And so, we, on days that he was in earlier scenes, we would have this massive pre-call. So I'm like, I'm already at a 12-hour day.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, this is so tired. I'm so tired.
That's why overtime. That's why the union is good for that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a huge supporter of our union.
Right.
I absolutely adore everything that they do for us, and just establishing working conditions and working environments and safety protocol is just so big. There's just, you get tired and too many things can go wrong. So it's nice to know that we have some protection there.
Exactly. So Holly Valentine does have a question for you. She says, what's been your favorite makeup that you've done?
My favorite makeup? Oh man.
There's been so much. You've done so many shows, so
I
many,
know.
so
I'm
much
trying to
television
like
in
think
the
of like
last
I didn't,
decade.
you know, I've done a lot. So I did a transformation on Chris Evans for the Iceman,
Mm-hmm.
and the motivation was I was like, I always sketch this like really creepy guy when I'm just like doodling or whatever. He's like creepy with the sunken eyes and the nose. He's like, and I'm making them plus, Lemmy from Motorhead. And he's like, yeah, Lemmy, that's what I was thinking. And so we like did this like weird thing to him where he did not look like Captain America. And it was funny because there would be like this group of girls just standing outside waiting for him to show up, and he could just like walk right by him.
You never
Half
know.
the time I'd turn around and touch him up, and I was like, "Where is he?" And he's like, "I'm right behind you."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that was really fun. It's fun to see sort of that take place. Like just a great like, haha, fooled you. In front of everybody live right there. So that was definitely a fun makeup. I'm trying to think of what else. We've done so many, like just so many. I'm like, let me see, what have I done? I mean,
No, go ahead.
well, I'm trying to think. I know we did a huge makeup on a movie called Vamps back in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember it was like a 4 hour. I think it was 2 hours to apply and 4 hours to remove. But it was really fun. I got to, anytime I get to work with people that have been in the industry for a long time, and these icons and these makeup heroes and stuff. Anytime I get to work with them, even if I'm just holding a glue bottle or a fan, I'm just like, I get to watch and see what they're doing and how they're doing it. And,
Yeah.
so any of those I get really excited about, and then the job's over, and then the next job is super exciting.
Right. Well, you're staying in the moment. So tell us about like, what is the department? Like, what is I guess the smallest kind of department, and then a bigger kind of department, and the different roles that someone in your area, and like the reporting structure as far as who is the head makeup person, who's like checking you, I guess.
Well, we usually have the makeup department head, and they're in charge of everything.
Yeah.
Sort of working with different departments to collaborate on the look for the characters. And then the key makeup artist that pretty much does so much, from everything from, breakdowns and booking people and orders and, just really thinking on their toes. Right. And then we also have like, a third or whatever in the trailer too on occasion. It just depends on the job. And then, we have all of our makeup artists that come in and work with us for the day, whether it's, coming in to do special effects, which those are, generally another department. However, they'll come in and do, entire shows where people are covered in dirt and blood or whatever, Yeah. So we'll have, 15, 20 people just dirtying up the masses. And, we usually have somebody running that as well. The background makeup supervisor sort of runs all of that.
Here's a question for you.
Who do I want to work with that I haven't worked with yet? Oh, I mean, I don't know that I'm ever going to get a chance to work with her because she's just, I think Tilda Swinton is incredible and transformative, and
Who's
her
that?
face, Tilda Swinton.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's so talented, and you can really, I mean, the things they've done to this woman to make her not look like herself are extraordinary.
Incredible.
I mean, just
incredible.
I can't. I mean, if I ever got an opportunity to, I'd probably like have sweaty armpits and being like, oh my God, I can't even talk.
Well, I'm sure some actors are just more open to that than others to take that transformation and to go there, right?
They are. I mean, at some point, like I did get direction on one job where the investors were like, well, we want the actors to look like themselves. Mm-hmm. And I was like,
what?
Okay. I mean, it wasn't the type of job where you were like, I'm going to turn you into an old man. Like, it was literally like a job where they would look like themselves. So, we get direction from a lot of different places, and Oh, hi, Jen. I don't know where I was trailing off to. I have no idea.
That's all right. We have another question. Did you ever have an epic makeup fail on set?
Oh my God, yes. I feel like every day.
Oh no.
No, no, no. I know that we definitely had an issue. We were in Michigan again. And I was just doing a really quick bullet wound on somebody, something that normally would take me like a few minutes. And got there in the morning and everything was fine. Of course, we're shooting in winter. This gets important later. So I have this 2-part silicone mixture. Had been using it the whole show, no problems, no problems, no problems. And then the heat goes out. Well, this particular thing, after like 68 degrees, it's just like sticky and takes forever and just doesn't want to set. Humidity affects it, all sorts of things affect it. It's great in the ideal condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm putting this thing and it's just like goo. And at one point I was just like, I actually constructed it on the countertop with the blow dryer, drying on the countertop to heat up the material so that it would set. Like, it was just a whole thing. It was just so strange. But that was definitely an epic fail. I called in my first AD, or I called my second AD. Yeah, he was checking on me in the trailer. And I was like, get on the phone with the first. We got to go to plan B. This isn't working. Like, I'm calling in a plan B now. And he was like, you are? And I'm like, yeah, it's not working. Like, I don't have a lot of options here. We're on like the last day of filming. Like, it's not like I can be like, oh, I can order that and have it here. You know, I have one in my pocket because I didn't. And usually, these are things that, whatever, without a hitch, but with the heat going out in the trailer, and it was, dead of winter. It had to be like January.
Always something. It's always something, right?
It happens. You learn to deal with it and roll with the punches, and everything can't be perfect every single day, no matter how bad we want it to, no matter how great everything is. And you just kind of take it in stride. And
we always notice like whatever happened, and we'll see it in that shot because we know what day it was and everything. But when it's all cut together, like the whole movie, it's usually people don't like, you just don't watch it. Like,
right.
When I'm editing or working on something now, like things that are bothering me, then I know, like, even if I just give it time and come back to it later, maybe it won't bother me as much. And, you kind of have to, you never win everything, right? I guess some people do, some movies still blow me away, like just how they make it all happen. And,
but even those, like, every now and then, like, I'll work with some makeup artists on these huge, massive, incredible shows. And they're like, oh yeah, that was me standing in the boat in the back of this period movie with my makeup bag on.
Yeah.
Because they said we were safe, and then they moved the camera. So there was makeup. There was like a couple of other departments standing, waiting to go back in, but they had shifted the shot and never cleared them of the frame. And so there they are. They made it through editing and everything into the final film. So it doesn't matter how big or how small. It just sometimes things happen. Right. It's just how it is.
So let me ask you, I look watching television, watching films, and knowing the production schedule, the way that they happen, how much of a difference do you think it makes for what you're doing, as far as like how fast you have to work in television compared to a feature film?
I think with the way that the industry's changed, I find film and television to be relatively on sort of the same time constraints. There's no matter what, when it comes down to it, there's only so much time that you can deduct. I can't be like, well, on film it takes me an hour to lay a beard, but on TV it's 30 minutes. It's always going to be the same amount of time. Like, you can only do that task so fast, no matter how many times somebody knocks on the door. It's always going to be the same. Like, I told you, I still have 20 minutes left. I can't, if we only shoot him from this side of his face, you can take him now. That's where we're at. So but really, with the quality of TV, and TV's being bigger and clearer and crisper, and films being in theaters, not as, you used to see a head and it was giant and you were like, okay, well, I have to fix this tiny scene. And even though things aren't as giant, the picture's crisper and clear and more sharpened. So you're still dealing with kind of the same things.
Right.
I know that wasn't the case a long time ago. And I think the last movie I got to shoot on actual film was End of the Tour. And it was so pretty. It was so pretty, and it was so nice to know that I could use techniques that I had learned in the beginning of my career.
Yeah.
That to help sculpt and hide and do this and do that and enhance people. Like, film is just so much more forgiving, and it really does give you, I feel like, a little bit more, like you get a little bit more scope to where you can paint things.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can paint on your sculpts, and it just gives you this really lovely sort of look.
Right. Well, my film that we did was shot on film, and that was the last film. I mean, it was the last narrative I did, really, and you can just tell just the way that it looks. It's kind of astonishing. We get so used to looking at the digital images, and I've been going back and kind of, I think a lot of people are rescanning even old things that they used to take with a snapshot camera, and even those film images look so much like there's just so much more to it. But, I think the digital image, I don't know, has lost something. And now that everybody's moving into the Zoom world, like all of these consumer like laptop cameras, those are also really forgiving. So it's kind of like, what do we want? A really nice crisp image on the camera, or do I want to not have to put a lot of makeup on, I guess, and go with something that's kind of like, fuzzy and everything. So Donna has a question. How difficult was it to film in the swamps of New Orleans?
It's hot. It's hot, and you sweat everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you ever sweat from the inside of your ear? Because I bet you sweat from the inside of your ear. The swamps of Louisiana are insanely hot. Like I try to describe to people when they're like, oh, we're coming there for a film in the summer. And I was like, look, you're going to take all your professional clothes and set them on fire. Just bring those, because it'll make you feel good. It'll make you feel like a professional. And then bring all the things that are going to let you breathe, because that's what you need. I mean, it's tough, and it's tough to get things to stick to faces. It's like, you would try to put a wound on someone's head, and it's just like sliding off. You're like, just push it back in place. We've had like some jobs where the dirt, like you could literally see the dirt like leaving the people because they were sweating so bad. So like you'd have like the dirt would all like end up, and you just reapply it, and it slowly rolled, and you just reapply it up high.
So I have to ask you, so sometimes when my husband and I are watching movies, especially like the post-apocalyptic ones, and the people have like their eyebrows are all nicely tweezed and their highlights are done, I always think, oh, I wonder where they, where are they getting that done? So is that something that, do you fight that on set or I guess in the creative process? Because for me, sometimes people are they look so good that it takes me out of what's happening, because I'm like, they would never look like that, or they're not dirty enough. Like, what happened?
You fight with dirt, because dirt's a tough one. It either looks really good and ground in that like we haven't bathed in a long time, or it looks like you just threw them in a mud pile. Like there's a very fine line, and it's real easy to lose control of your dirt, especially if they're not sweating it off. Because just naturally, usually in those environments, there's stuff in the air, they're doing smoke and air effects and stuff like that. So when you get that smoke and it's a little bit sticky and it sticks more dirt to them, and all of these things sort of combined. But yeah, it is something that you do deal with, and you try to work out a happy way. Like people still want to see pretty people. And so you're constantly fighting that, because a lot of times, it's just because it's, somebody's crush, or they're real popular for looking this way, or, somebody else has there's so many people that have a say in how the looks finally come about. And, there's also things like scheduling conflicts and stuff where we have people fly in, they'll work maybe a day or two, and then they go back to their other job, which is one where they have to be perfect and proceed. You know, they could be playing like a lawyer or something.
Mm-hmm.
The wig game right now is especially strong. There are some like excellent wig makers out there. And so I think that that's helped a lot with just developing those characters and being able to sort of do the things you wanted to do and be like, well, no, her highlights are not fresh. Like she would have like, you know, these pieces may be bleached out from the sun, but other than that, dumpster. So, you know, I think the wigs have really come a long way for as far as that goes. And there are a lot of things. Oh, hi, Nene. There's so I don't know. There's so many things that you really get into. Oh, Alana, she's so cute. There's so many things that you have to take in consideration. And you know, oh yeah, I do think that eyebrow should be a millimeter smaller. I'll take care of that. Sorry, dog.
Yeah.
Boris, stop. And then, you know, I love that lip color. Let's use that. Well, I'm sorry, your girlfriend isn't really aware of what lip colors were available and the textures that were available at that time. So I'm just gonna have to, this is not gonna work. Here's what we have available in, you know, this place at this time, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of input that you have to take into consideration and then sort of like hash out this character that your actor feels good about, because they become their character in your chair. And so, you know, if they're not happy with how they look, it's going to affect them. They want that transformation. They want to see that. And, you know, certain people, it's like when the beard is finished, when the contacts go in, when the wig is on, you know, everybody has their own sort of thing, but they see that moment and they're like, this is it. Right. And so you kind of, you know, you have to play into that too as well, because nobody wants to be responsible for an actor doing a bad job because you were like, now I insist your eyebrows should look like this or something. Hi, Krista. Hi, Lily, Evie, and Weston. Aw.
It's fun just to like see who pops in and watches.
I know. It's adorable. I was just playing games with my niece, Lily, before this started. And so she was texting me, it's your turn. I'm like,
nice.
I can't do that right now.
I don't know how you keep foundation from sliding down the face. So the face is on the neck.
Oh, yeah.
That's responding earlier. She was talking about earlier, right?
Well, I was talking about how I keep foundation from sliding down. You know, we do a lot of skin prep. And so generally, like, my actors don't wear a ton of foundation on their faces. Lots of serums and creams and potions and letting it sit in and do its job so that you can really go in and just be like, let's fix this. And, you know, that. And then, you know, we have a lot of setting sprays on the market. There's actual powders that we use that have that are waterproof. So you put the powder on, press it on, dust it off, put your sealer over the top. And that way, instead of makeup sliding down the face, it stays there. So if they sweat, you just gently blot the sweat off and go on your way. But, you know, these are people that, you know, we're chasing them around all day long. So it's, you know, it's not like we put it on in the morning and they work for 12 hours.
Yeah, it's been fun to see like all the stars, you know, doing all their videos from home now. And we can see that they don't look like, you know, they don't have the team of people doing their makeup, doing their lighting them, composing the right, like all of that stuff. To help them. So they do look like normal people.
You're like, oh, look, you look like a real person, which is kind of, it's kind of amazing though that because nobody ever knows, you know, they come in the morning before anybody's there and they walk through our trailer. So nobody knows what like the unfinished person looks like. They just know what they look like when they're in character. So it's nice that, you know, we're getting to see that a little bit more, especially with, you know, social media and all of that. But even now that there's less production value, even in the social media accounts, you get to see just how people look just like regular people. You know, and it's good lighting and you know, just putting the makeup in just the right place to make this happen or that happen.
Right. Right. So, I mean, I think people, you know, you know, I'm doing camera ready training and I'm trying to help everybody just be like all these Zoom calls and all these interviews, everything is happening in front of a camera now. And, you know, people just aren't used to it. But I think, you know, there's a few things that everybody can do that can make it look like they at least thought about what they were going to do in front of the camera. So there is a question, and I'm interested to know, what is your favorite waterproof powder? But also just like, do you have any, like, are there any special tricks that the regular person might not know about as far as,
I mean, I don't know about tricks.
What are some good products that you really like?
So there's, you know, okay, my favorite waterproof powder is going to go real old school here with the Kryolan. It was called Fixie Powder. I think it's fixing powder now. I don't know. I've had it a million years and they know what I'm talking about when I order. It comes in a bunch of different shades. Dust that on, you know, as much off as you can, and set it. And it really is wonderful. I haven't tried it under the makeup yet, which is something that I do want to try. Sort of sandwich the makeup together, layer of the powder, layer of the makeup, then the layer of the powder, then the setting spray, to sort of see how that works. Because I know, especially in humid climates, getting a little bit of that powder on first can help really with adhesion. And then as far as tips and tricks go to look a little bit better on here, I mean, I think lighting is really big. However, there's been a few things that I've used on my way. And it's not a brand, like It Cosmetics makes a powder, and it's like a blurring powder. So it's really fast and easy to put on. And I have to say that stuff, I've done a few things where, you know, it's just a real quick powder on a man before he goes in camera. And man, it really works. It blurs everything away. It's by It Cosmetics, and I think it's just like blur powder, instant perfecting powder. I don't know if anybody works for it that's watching this, if they know what it's called and they can tell us. I've bought a million of them. I basically go to the store and just pick it up blindly, so I don't even know what I'm buying. But it's that has definitely been something that I really like. It like just reflects enough of the light without giving you that weird yellow look. So that's definitely something. And I really think just being really light-handed and soft, getting, you know, if you're going to go with lighting, I mean, I'm a fan of the makeup light. It is actually, you know, white. It's the closest white balanced light you can get as far as makeup lights go, but it looks really pretty. And then she has these little eyebrow lights that just came out. And then this like whole vanity thing that came out, like a light mirror that has like all these things. She has all these things.
So it's called makeup light, you're saying?
The makeup light. And it really, she even has filters and gels you can put on it for diffusion and you know, just like if you go to your gaffer and your DP and you ask them, you know, like, well, how are we lighting night? Are we going like with this blue, or are you not doing blue at all? Are we just gonna like on the, you know, what are we doing? Just a cooler look? And so then you can mimic that in the trailer. So when you're doing makeup for that setup, you know, if you were just to pale somebody out, it'd be fine in natural light, but when you stick them in blue light, they'll look like a Smurf. So you know, you have to find that balance. But yeah, so her lights are really incredible for that.
Tool that you have in your kit?
I do have one in my kit. It comes with like I think I got like the Pro package, which came with a stand and a suction cup and a little arm. There's like 3 different ways I think you can hook it up. And now they even have this like super amazing tape that like just like a sticky wad. I can't, it's a terrible thing. It's a sticky wad, but it keeps it on glass.
Right.
But it's super professional and lasts a long time.
Well, just I think the fact that you're thinking about that and that you're talking to the gaffer and like all this is going on, I was like, wow, like when you're producing and directing, I don't know, like there's so many people and every one of them is doing a job like what you're doing. And so, and then we just kind of see like the finished product when you goes in front of the camera. And
well, it's definitely having a really strong relationship with, you know, your director of photography and your gaffer. So you can go in and you can like stand next to, you know, whoever your DP is and be like,
yes.
So he's had that prosthetic on for the past 16 hours and like it's getting a little weird. If I touch it, I'm afraid it's either going to completely fall off.
Right.
But if I don't have time to replace it, let's, you know, can you give me some love? And they'll just change a light from here to like here, get rid of something, and it's perfect.
Right.
You know, so there's those moments as well. And I always try to have that conversation.
Too. That's your experience and your expertise, being able to know like when you can go in and make those suggestions and how to do that. Because I think when you're
it's more of an ask than anything, you know. And you know, there's times when people, you know, she's had a new baby, or you know, they went out and partied, or like insomnia strikes, and you're like, I've done everything I can from my end. I really would love it if you could help me make her look a little less tired, or make him look a little less whatever. And so, you know, I need a kid. You know, that you have to have those relationships. It's just important that we talk to those, because even prosthetics reflect light different than skin does. Like there's just so many things. So really having those strong relationships is so important. And knowing what to ask for, and you know, like knowing about lighting, knowing about your cameras, knowing about your lenses, it just helps you exponentially in the long run.
Right. So I guess what's next for you, Karri? What's coming up? What do you think is
well, we still have 5 episodes left of Claws, which I really do love working with them. And so that's up and coming as soon as a break is over. And after that, I don't know. I know that my agent has been just hustling and calling everybody and finding, you know, trying to find out. I think a lot of things are just kind of like stuck right now because of where we're at. Like we just don't know when we're going to be able to open and when we're going to get back on track. And then there's the whole backlog of everything that needs to finish filming that would have been done for these new projects to start. So like this whole jam of things is happening as well. So it's just really how the industry works itself out that I'll know where I can actually go. Because we're just in limbo right now.
Right. Will someone please make me look a little less whatever? I don't know what that means, but
Renee, she's beautiful, by the way. She's like just stunningly gorgeous naturally. Don't listen to her.
Now they're talking back and forth. Well, they can talk back and forth on the thread.
Fine, whatever.
All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye, and it was so good chatting with you because it's just been too long. And I know that, you know, especially on those shorter, like smaller budget things that, you know, the corporate work, a lot of the stuff I do, it's just, you know, I'm always trying to take these few little things that I glean and, you know, work everything in so that my 2 or 3 people can do it themselves. But it's certainly when you have the full crew to make things happen, it's really terrific. And so I hope that we get to work together someday in the future. I don't know when that'll be, but I wish you all the best, and I'm so proud of what
Oh, thank you for having me. I was so excited and horribly nervous, but yeah, super excited. I was like, I haven't seen Karri in forever. So it was very exciting, and thank you for having me. Anytime, any questions, I'm always here.
All right, thanks so much. Take care. Say bye to all your they're doing hearts and everything.
Oh,
bye.
Bye, hearts. Bye. Love you.
All right. See you, everybody.
Bye. Leave.
Oh, yeah.